SCAG has always been focused on trying to make sure that our region is served to the extent that everyone in the region is part of the growth. It's really how do we ensure that every single member of our communities access to opportunities within the region, and how do we make sure that the region sustains.
SCAG plays an important role in the region. We have to look out to the future to really identify the challenges we have, how we overcome them, but then take those ideas and really help us build a brighter future. 2025 certainly started in a way no one could imagine. What we learned is what we've always known, that leaders have to lead in times of crisis.
When the wildfires hit Los Angeles County, and we're seeing the devastation on a wide scale, obviously it hit not just our residents here, but also staff members of SCAG. Personally, we had people affected immediately. It brings another dimension and depth to SCAG of how we work with our cities and our counties moving forward.
You know, the lives that were affected and the experiences that were had in those environments, and just the total loss of community.
Not only has SCAG been there to help support, also taking that longer-term look of how can we help those that are going to come later. And that comes in a variety of ways, because certainly resiliency just isn't about wildfires.
Part of what these wildfires remind us is that they're just one of many disasters, and oftentimes flooding and landslides follow wildfires. We always have to be preparing and thinking, and whether we're doing capital improvement projects or we're doing landscaping, we need to be thinking about the impacts that any potential future disaster might have on that.
We already are talking with the legislature about resiliency districts and how we, not only recover quickly, but also how do we take care of those residents that were affected by fires, and how we plan together as a region going forward to hopefully prevent some of these large-scale events.
When I was a fireman 30 years ago, if we had one major fire in California, it was one too many. What I'm very proud of with SCAG is that we're actually looking at the problem, we're the leaders, and we're out there talking to the insurance commissioner to make that issue even better, hopefully in the future.
So one of the unique things about Connect SoCal this cycle is we actually focused a lot more on implementation. And it's great to do a plan that's forward-looking and revolutionary. To date, it looks like we're close to about 75% of those strategies being, in some measure, being implemented. To me, that's just really an incredible place to be, and it's gratifying to see that as an outcome of our planning process. When we talk about housing production, people always think, well, you just gotta find land and build a housing. Well, there are other constraints to housing production. The REAP program has been unique in the sense that it was targeted to the regions, those funds to go directly to local agencies to focus on the specific policy areas.
Last year we had our first budget shortfall in a long time. The governor had to make some cuts in the budget to ensure that it was balanced, and one of the cuts was $300 million to the REAP program. This was a devastating bit of news to us here at SCAG, because we use that money to fund so many important and transformative projects. Staff, working with leadership, was able to mobilize our regional council into strike teams, and our strike teams were set up to speak with each legislator about projects in their district. You know, spoiler alert, we were able to restore the funding that was taken away for REAP. It was a shock and awe moment, I think, courtesy of SCAG.
Southern California region is a region that really leads in thought-making and entertainment throughout the world. So it's no surprise that the World Cup, Super Bowl, College National Championship, that those major events want to be here.
So we're excited about the Olympics. We all are. I always remind people that this is a regional Olympics. And so we have to look at the footprint and how this is going to affect the entire region.
I'm proud that Los Angeles City is the host of the Games, but venues are going to take place throughout the region. But it's an opportunity for areas, even when there won't be a Games venue there, to benefit.
One of the assignments that we have at SCAG is to think very logically and strategically about how we manage the travel demand. Collectively as a region, we'll come up with strategies such that our regular everyday activities continue to thrive as a region, using the games as an opportunity to advance some of the things that we've been talking about. These are the things that I think the games affords us the opportunity to do.
The future is so optimistic, not just for Southern California. Even with the change in federal policy, the current news today of change in locations and reinvestment in the United States, I think California will be a big role and player in that going forward.
When you see how communities come together, you understand why our work as a regional planning agency, the commitment to rebuild better makes you feel positive.
I think what we've learned in 2025 is how eager this region is to stick together and fight for each other.